What's up, Taiwan? I'm Erika Liu with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te has met with the heads of all 5 branches of government in a push to solve a political impasse. The only opposition figure among the 5 was the head of the legislature, Han Kuo-yu of the Kuomintang. He says he pressed the president to stop a campaign to recall dozens of opposition lawmakers. Han also said he'll discuss with the opposition-controlled legislature whether they could reconsider cuts to parts of the government budget.
呼吁行政院不要提出中央政府总预算的复议案，不提复议案的前提之下，能不能找到一条可行的路？希望赖清德总统能够停止大罢免。
There are currently about 40 lawmakers in Taiwan facing possible removal from office. As President Lai tried to get the 5 branches of government on the same page, there were no signs of a let-up in political hostilities. Another batch of petitions to recall legislators were handed in even as the president held the meeting. Tiffany Wang brings us this report from outside the Central Election Commission in Taipei.
In the latest in Taiwan's recall war, dozens of members of the public and civil society organizations have come to submit petitions to recall 12 KMT lawmakers, submitting tens of thousands of signatures that they hope will see these officials recalled. Representatives from these ruling party-aligned recall campaigns came from all over the country, from the capital here, Taipei, to Taichung on the west coast, and even the outlying islands of Jinmen, just 3 kilometers off the coast of China, to show their support for the movement. And some of these campaigners said that they're especially worried about KMT lawmakers' connections with China and how that could affect the country's national security.
不是对少数立委有仇恨，也不是在帮民进党争回国会的多数，而是大家都看清了，我们国会的蓝白立委都听命于傅昆萁，而傅昆萁则直接听命于北京的中共政协主席王沪宁。
These 12 members of the Kuomintang join a growing list of names of politicians facing recall campaigns here in Taiwan, now over 40 across party lines. And supporters on both sides are citing concerns ranging from national security to corruption, and most recently, anger over budget cuts by the opposition to the central government budget. And 200 writers even signed a statement saying that they were upset over those KMT-led funding cuts for the Culture Ministry. Now, this is all part of growing chaos between the political parties in Taiwan and the branches of government over power. And these recall petitions are just one battle in the fight for control of the legislature. Now, if these petitions pass the first round, there will be a second round of signature collections, and if enough are verified, there will be an official vote held. That means we could see potentially 40 votes held this year, and even 40 by-elections if all these officials facing recall votes are successfully recalled. Chris Ma, Scott Huang, and Tiffany Wang in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Steel and aluminum are the latest targets of Donald Trump's escalating trade policy. The U.S. president says he intends to introduce 25% tariffs on all U.S. imports of the 2 metals. It's a move that catches several of Washington's allies and partners here in Asia in the crosshairs. Joyce Zeng has more.
New trade moves from U.S. President Donald Trump, continuing an aggressive policy start to his second term. Just days since the U.S. reached deals with Canada and Mexico to avoid tariffs Trump threatened on all goods from the 2 countries, Trump now pledging 25% tariffs on 2 major metal imports.
Any steel coming into the United States is going to have a 25% tariff.
What about aluminum, sir?
Aluminum, too.
Both Canada and Mexico are major aluminum suppliers to the U.S., Canada leading imports in primary aluminum metal by far, accounting for nearly 80% of total imports for almost all of 2024. Canada also dominates in steel imports, supplying the U.S. with 6.5 million net tons of steel mill products last year. But the latest levy also takes aim at some of Washington's closest allies and partners in Asia, namely South Korea, Japan, and Taiwan, all of whom sit in the top 10 list of foreign sources of steel. In a statement to TaiwanPlus, Taiwan's largest steel manufacturer, CSC, says since it exported a smaller volume than Canada and Mexico combined, it expects the direct impact of steel tariffs to be small, but that the details of Trump's plan are needed for a fuller picture. Concerns have been mounting for Taiwan's export-reliant economy, particularly because of its large trade surplus with the U.S. of almost $65 billion, which could push Trump to hit the country with what he calls reciprocal tariffs to rebalance trade. Two economic officials are set to travel to Washington to try and quell the tariff threats, especially the promised levy on imported chips, a sector Taiwan dominates in.
到美国去，那尽量跟这些川普周边的人士，我们跟他们做一些比较好的解说啦，哈。大家在彼此的认知上面，不知道说半导体制造是这么的这个风险这么高。
As Trump is expected to detail his reciprocal tariff policies in the coming days, Taiwan and other countries must increasingly confront a global landscape that's becoming more about business than about alliances and goodwill. Ryan Wu and Joyce Zhen for TaiwanPlus.
Chinese residents and business owners are reacting to an escalating trade war between the U.S. and China. Cadence Coronta has more.
Tensions are rising between China and the United States after U.S. President Donald Trump imposed tariffs on all Chinese imports. And China hit back with its own retaliatory tariffs. Residents and business owners in China are reacting. Some view the tariffs as a blow to U.S.-China relations, saying there's no doubt it will impact both sides, and stressing the need for a tougher response from the Chinese government.
光是你们限制我这个，我觉得反制是应该的，应该更狠一点。
因为我们中国也是个很大的国家，我们不能说让他随便的欺负。那他一直征收各种关税，那我们不能不发声音。
Last week, the U.S. imposed 10% tariffs on all Chinese imports. China hit back with a 15% border tax on imports of U.S. coal and liquefied natural gas, as well as a 10% tariff on crude oil and agricultural machinery. Those most affected in China could include electronics firms, which may find it harder to export into the U.S., as well as some other sectors.
If we look at some of the sectors with a large U.S. exposure, it could be sectors like home appliances and toys, basically some of the basic goods that China export to the U.S. They may actually find it quite difficult because the profit margin is already quite low, and then these goods are generally more replaceable from the production from other countries.
Yet, many traders and export manufacturing hub Yiwu appear less concerned. Though around 80% of this toy company's exports go to the U.S., its owner says even a 50% tariff would not have much of an impact.
首先一点，我们这个产品是高利润产品，就我比如这里卖5块钱，他们可能批发商给出的价格可能是15到20，因为在美国本土就是这个价格。 所以他们即使你说关税5块钱加个2块5的关税，对吧？其实对他们来说影响也不是特别大。
Another business owner says his company had prepared itself before Trump took office.
从一些报道当中 ，OK 去捕捉一些信息，包括从这个 Facebook、从这个 YouTube， 包括从这个 Instagram 这些上面，我们都会去抓取一些信息，然后再来给公司定下。 特朗普上台之后 ，OK， 我们到底要怎么去调整？其实是有提前布局的，而不是说当下出光的 ，OK， 出了这个政策马上调整，其实是来不及的。
With tariffs imposed by the world's two largest economies only just beginning to take effect, it'll take time until it's clear who is affected and how. Dolphine Chen and Cadence Coronta for TaiwanPlus.
Police are expanding their search for the remains of 3 murder victims in southern Taiwan. They've already recovered some body parts from a Kaohsiung river. And as John Van Trieste reports, they hope to find more evidence that will seal this case.
Divers make a grisly discovery, several body parts belonging to 2 murder victims. It's the latest evidence in the case of an alleged triple killing that's shocked the southern port city of Kaohsiung, and it raises questions of whether there's more evidence out there. 73-year-old suspect Zhang Jiezong says he is innocent of the killings. But police say what they found puts that in doubt.
虽然他矢口狡辩、抵赖，但是他还是逃不过铁的证据。
There's surveillance footage of him with 2 of the victims before their deaths. One appears to have given Zhang a ride on February 2nd. Investigators have found this woman's blood in Zhang's home, as well as footage showing him going in and out of his home with black plastic bags the following morning.
这个案子比较好的就是它有影像，又找到内脏啊等等这些，基本上就活不了了嘛。在室内又找到有血迹，我想这样的一个关联性，那就看检察官、法官对于这些基证的串联。
But this is not an open and shut case, and there are still gruesome questions police need to solve. Based on a sheet of paper written with names in Zhang's home, police believe there were 4 targets. 2 names match the remains found so far. One person on the list is alive and well, a target who got away. But what about the last name? It's Zhang's sister-in-law, missing since December. There's a suspected DNA evidence match here too. But while police expect to find another dismembered body, they're not sure where to look. Some lawyers, though, think a link with the other cases may not be too hard to find.
极大量的血迹足以致命，或者说部分遗体啦，要用这个方式来做证明，或者其他被推下断崖或推到海里面相关的基证的话，也可以证明说他已经死亡，应该就可以达到这个起诉的门槛。
So investigators are spreading out, looking in Kaohsiung's harbor, at the local garbage incinerator, and possibly even the suspect's septic tank for clues, in the hope that they fill in the blanks and see justice served. Hank Xu and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's population shrank for the 13th month in a row in January, with fewer than 10,000 babies born. The Interior Ministry also counted a population decline of more than 4,100 people that month. And with the monthly birth rate stuck below 10,000 since last February, the downward trend is set to continue. A feathered professor has joined the teaching team at a Taiwanese university, and by demonstrating the diverse therapy options available to healthcare professionals, Shimei the chicken is helping students explore new possibilities. Reese Ayers reports.
You've heard of therapy dogs. Now meet Shimei, the therapy hen, resident poultry professor of the nursing department at Tzu University in Taiwan's eastern city of Hualien. A quick hit with the class, this friendly fowl has been employed to teach students about alternative therapies. And through playing with Shimei, these future healthcare professionals experienced firsthand the potential therapeutic effects of interacting with animals.
摸下来的时候，就是心里会有比较平顺的感觉啦，劳累的心情会有慢慢的消退，我觉得还算有用的。
因为是第一次，所以我就是很想要碰触它。对，因为它毛茸茸的，然后又其实很舒服。
While not quite as typical a choice as dogs or cats, hens are used as therapy animals, reducing stress and providing company for people with mental health issues, mobility difficulties, or who live alone. And for the university, it's a chance to demonstrate to their students the range of tools available to them as healthcare providers.
让学生体验不同的多元的辅助疗法啦，对，然后那因为疗愈鸡，他们可能在鸡，他们平常也比较少接触得到。
With Taiwan set to become a super-aged society this year and facing a constant shortage of healthcare workers, the country's need for creative solutions is coming home to roost. And while the idea of emotional support hens may ruffle a few feathers, these nursing students are experiencing that their benefits are by no means paltry. Hank Xu and Reese Ayers for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally today, we give you a glimpse into Zona Maco in Mexico City, one of the biggest art fairs in Latin America. I'm Erika Liu. Take care and see you next time.